Everybody, welcome to the Valley Skater Dress Sew Along planning video. Today I'm going to talk to you about the pattern, how to get it, where to print it out, what fabric to use for it, as well as going over some of my favorite sources for online fabric purchasing, since I know in a lot of places we are in lockdown again or just limiting our contact with the outside world. Also, we're going to be starting the sew along in February. So this gives us 3 weeks to get our fabric, maybe get a test fit done, and also just make sure we've done all our fitting, gathered all our resources, and are ready to go. So I'm wearing my test fit today of the Valley Skater dress. This is the peplum version with the boat neck and the plain cap sleeves. So the first thing you need to do to make your own version is go and download the pattern. You want to go to sinclair.com and sinclairpatterns.com and look for the Valley Skater dress. It is free and you will be able to put it into your cart and add it and get it for nothing. It is an awesome pattern and I've really enjoyed my first experience with it, and I cannot wait to sew the dress version with all of you in February. So once you've gotten that, I will wait for you to come back with your downloaded. You are going to see when you download the pattern that there's several options. There's an option for regular like American letter paper, there's an A4 pattern, and I think there's a copy shop pattern. There's also different heights in your pattern. Every Sinclair pattern comes in petite, regular, and tall sizing. That is amazing. It means less adjustments to your pattern length and a better chance of it fitting. So let's download first and open up the tutorial. If you guys are ready to see this. There we go. That's our tutorial. Now on the first page we have the title page, and we also have the table of contents, and then we're getting into the basic fit of the dress. So the basic fit is it's a standard skirt. It can have several different options. It's fitted in the shoulders, semi-fitted at the waist, fit and flare skater dress. So we have a sleeveless option for this dress, a plain sleeve, which comes in the short, the 3/4, and the long sleeve, a lantern sleeve, which is that view right there. See the puffy sleeve with the gathered pleated bottom. You can make this dress as a peplum skirt or a full-length skirt. You also can make a high crew neck, the boat neck, which is the one I'm wearing today, and also a deeper scoop neck. Now, there's a lot of options, including a waistband, and I will show you guys a hack to get rid of the waistband just in case you want to make your dress without it. Next page, we have fabric choice and styling options. But before we get into that, I want to talk about fabric last. First, let's talk about what pattern you should actually be cutting. Are you a tall, a petite, or a regular size in Sinclair patterns? Okay, so if you are the petite, that means you are between 5'1" and 5'3". I fit into this category at 5'2". The regular is 5'4" to 5'6", and then the tall is 5'7" to 5'9". So what if you're under 5'1" or over 5'9"? You would cut out the size that's the closest to your height measurement, and then add or subtract length in the bodice and the skirt as needed. But this pattern covers those heights, and then in their sizing chart, they cover bust between 31.5 inches and 59.8 inches. That is a very large range of sizes. And I'm pretty confident we can get most people to find a size in this that will fit them. wants you to do a full bust waist and hip measurement. I'm gonna lower my camera a little bit so I can show you what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Now my head's cut off, but you can see everything else, if it'll focus. Hello? Hello. Okay, so when they say a full bust measurement, they want you to take a tape measure and go around the fullest part of your bust, like so. See, that is the apex, biggest part of my bust. And that is where I'm writing down. I'm gonna make sure your tape is straight all the way around. It's great if you can get a friend to help, but it's not absolutely necessary. So you wanna write that measurement down. Go to your waist, which is the smallest part, through your torso. Way to find your waist is to bend. And where your body goes in when you bend to the side, that's your waist. Hip is the widest part of your hip. With this pattern, it doesn't matter too much because we've got a flared skirt, but it's good to know anyway. So there you go. And one more measurement that I think you should take is the high bust measurement. So you want to go up here and measure right under your arm, straight around your high bust. And look, it's me. Okay, so why do I think you should take your high bust measurement? Your high bust measurement is what decides the fit through your shoulders. So while this is a knit pattern and there is a lot of leeway because it stretches, you still want to make sure you're getting a good fit in your shoulders so that your neckband and all that stuff sits the way it should. And Sinclair's pattern chart is great. I'll show you guys. You won't be able to see it very clearly here, but to give you an example, after taking my measurements, my bust, my full bust is a 35, but my upper bust measurement is a 33. So I picked the 34.6 for my bust size, and that ensures that it's going to fit nicely on my shoulder. I can do this because the sizes 0 through 6 are a B cup, and I happen to be one. Now, what if I wasn't? What if I was the measurement for the size 4 in my upper bust measurement, but it was off in the lower bust measurement? Well, there's a few things you can do. You can grade out your pattern so that the shoulders are that high bust measurement, and then grade out at the bust itself to a higher size. But I will put an even better solution for that, which is a full bust adjustment. And I will add some links down below of really good tutorials on doing full bust adjustments. I personally have not done one, so I don't feel comfortable teaching it to you, but there's a lot of people who do a great job of showing it here on YouTube, and I'll make sure you get links to that down below. So, next step, waist size. Well, my waist is not a size 4. My waist is a size 6 in Sinclair patterns. I have a 27-inch waist, and the Sinclair pattern size 4 is a 26.8-inch waist. Well, on bad IBS days, I'm 27 to 27 and a half. So I would rather go up to that 28.3 waist. So that's what I did. And then my hip, I actually have really narrow hips. So I'm closer to, honestly, the size 2, which is the extra small. But that's not what I'm doing. Because this dress isn't fitted in the hip, I'm going to show you guys how I changed my pattern to make it fit me. The reason this is so important is because these patterns are printed out in layers. So for myself, I need to print out the 4 and the 6. So you just click off all the layers that aren't your size and you print it out that way. Save some paper, and it's also a lot easier to look at instead of having like bajillions of lines. Sinclair does an amazing job of showing you how to adjust the pattern just a couple pages after. Also, I'm going to put a link below to the Sinclair Patterns group, which is an amazing resource. You can show your finished objects there, and you can also do things like ask questions from the designers themselves on how they would suggest you grade the pattern to fit you. They have a vested interest in their patterns fitting you and your body because they want you to come back and get more patterns. I have about 4 patterns from Sinclair and they've all been great, and I've asked questions there. It's a great resource. Also, you can talk to each other in the comments below. If someone has a great idea about how to do a full bust adjustment, please ask and maybe someone can help you. Also, we have the Facebook group that I belong to and moderate, which is the Sew a Vintage Style Dress community. I'm also cross-posting over there with our progress on the dress, and I invite any of you who are not part of that group to go over and say hi and join up. We'd love to have you. Okay, so now that we've done that, I thought I would show you guys the changes that I made to my pattern, because at this point, you have read through your directions, printed out the size and length of pattern you need, and you're ready to get the PDF stuck together. Sinclair talks about how to do that too on their pattern tutorial and also on their website. But now that we've got the pattern stuck together, what now? What if I need to do those little changes? I'll show you what I did. All right, so here we are. Let's talk about the pattern itself. This is my pattern all printed out, and it's got all the pieces and it's got all the alterations. So you will see there's quite a lot of pieces. One of the first things we want to deal with though is the bodice pattern. So here is the original bodice pattern. As you can see, it's got all the neckline variations, and it's also got different cutting lines for things like sleeveless or with sleeves. So I wanted to cut out the boat neck. So I knew I wanted the boat neck, and I knew I wanted it to have sleeves. So that's what I traced off. And I just traced that onto a separate piece of paper. This keeps you from having to print out the pattern every time you want to try a different view. Now, going back to my pattern, as you can see, can you see that? I had cut out the sizes for the 4 and the 6. I'm a 4 in the bust, but I'm a 6 in the waist. So all I did was I found the 6 here, and that is my waist, and I just blended that size from the 4 at the armhole out to the 6 at the waist, and that has given me an excellent fit. I did that on the front and the back. So after I made the dress, I found the armhole, it's okay, but I like my armhole a little lower. I like a little bit more ease in my armhole. So that's what I did. I went in and I took 2/8 of an inch out of the front and back armhole. So I just dropped it and blended it in. Now, if you do that, if you change your armhole, you have to add it to the sleeve piece. So I traced out the short sleeve, and I added that 1/8 of an inch, 2/8 of an inch on both sides of the sleeve. Because the sleeve goes into the pattern based on the armhole, and it controls your armhole ease and how comfort that space is going to be under your arms. And what you do to one pattern piece, you have to do to any pieces that connect with it. So that was the main changes that I made after making my test fit, which I'll talk about in a second. I also traced the peplum off from the original skirt, so I didn't have to cut that skirt pattern and I could reuse it. My tracing paper is some I get from Amazon, but you can use anything from newspaper to wrapping paper to anything you can find at the dollar store. Let me show you guys what to do if you decide if there's a cat in the middle of the video. Hello, Remy. Please get down, my sweet boy. All right, so let's say you love the dress, but you're like me and you were a little apprehensive about the waistband. I ended up liking the waistband. I think it's cool now, but at first I was like, how am I gonna get that waistband out of there. Well, it's very easy to do, and I did figure it out, and I ended up trying it with the waistband and liking it. You just want it to be a regular bodice that goes into a skirt. So what do? Trace off your bodice front. I keep dropping things. And then the whole dress has a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So if you want to take out the waistband, you have to lower down the bodice enough to where the waistband used to be. So take the waistband pattern piece and put it on top of the bodice at that 1/4 inch seam allowance, because that is the part that the bodice sews onto the waistband. So 1/4 inch up, and then you're just gonna extend that line down. Trace it over the waistband, trace that curve, cut it out, and there you have it. You have gotten rid of the waistband, and you can just sew the bodice directly to the skirt. And finally, everybody's favorite bit, Remy is guest starring to talk about fabric. So, what do you make this dress out of? This is for knit fabric, and Sinclair suggests several different ones. Also, if you want some other great ideas, remember that Sinclair Facebook group I told you about? There are over 70 pictures of this dress made by members of that group, and a lot of them say what fabric they use. So definitely go check that out. Now, they say the dress choose a light to medium well-draping knit fabric with at least 50% horizontal and 20% vertical stretch. So you need a 4-way stretch fabric. Your first choices may be rayon, viscose, bamboo, spandex, elastane, lycra, ITY single and double brushed poly, interlock, lightweight jersey. You can also pick lightweight fabrics like lightweight double knits, French terry, and stable sweater knits. So first let's start with what I made it out of. I made this out of a DTY poly knit. It's got a 4-way stretch, a beautiful soft brushed hand, and it was very easy to work with. The bottom of this is made in a bullet knit, which is a slightly more stable, thicker knit fabric, but still very lightweight. So let me show you guys some examples of the different fabrics they were talking about. First, you've got your rayon jersey. This has incredible drape and flow. This is a fairly easy fabric to work with. It's got a soft, lovely hand. It is breathable, so it's nice for summer months. A sleeveless version in something like this could be fantastic. However, it's not super structured. So if you want that waistband to be more structured, you need to use a fabric on the back that's a little bit of a heavier weight fabric. Nothing too heavy, because when you attach the skirt to the waistband, you are going through several layers of fabric. You want them all to be pretty lightweight. This is a remnant of a Liverpool knit. This is a double knit fabric. This is one of the second choices. Nice stretch, nice recovery. Liverpool comes in fantastic colors. It's similar to the bullet knit that I used for the waistband. However, because this is a heavier fabric, it has its advantages. It's super easy to sew. It doesn't roll up on you. It doesn't wrinkle. It's just really a joy to work with. However, the one thing is, if you do it with a button band, the waistband, if you do a version of this dress with the waistband, I wouldn't use this, because you're going through like 4 layers of this. And that might be a bit much for most home machines. I think my serger could handle it. But if you're trying to sew this without a serger, I might not use Liverpool. Or if you're going to use it, omit the waistband. Poly. Now this is a little different than DTY. This is a brushed DTY. So this is a double twist yarn knit. It's made of polyester, and it's very similar to double brush poly, and people often use it interchangeably. I'm not even 100% sure what the difference is. But double brush poly has a beautiful drape, a nice medium weight, a wonderful soft hand. If you're familiar with things like LuLaRoe leggings, this is the same fabric they use for those. DTY or ITY knit fabric. This almost feels like swimsuit fabric. It is a dry knit, great drape. I mean, look at this. It really drapes. It's springy. It's got a lot of stretch, a good recovery, but it doesn't have that soft, brushed feel. This is more like a slinky, slick jersey. Feels great. It does a wonderful job of anything with drape and movement. It also washes and dries beautifully. I tend to lay my clothes out to dry, but if you can't, then these poly knits do a great job of that. You can just pop them in the dryer on low and they survive very well. This, I would probably use a more stable fabric as the inside waistband, just to make sure the weight of this drapey fabric's not gonna pull your dress down. And then finally, you can use a cotton lycra. I don't have any with me right now, but cotton lycra, cotton jersey, spandex, all of those things are very similar to what you get in t-shirts and things like that. So that's the different types of fabrics. The last part of this is my recommendations for places to buy this fabric, and I'll put links to everything down below. So I got the DTY I used right here from Express Knit. They are a company in the Los Angeles garment district, and they sell kind of like wholesale prices to the public. They have DTY, ITY, a lot of different fabrics, some Liverpool, and they have fantastic prices. Then there's Girl Charlie. Girl Charlie is pretty much an all knit fabric. They're a company. They're in California as well. They ship really fast. They have fantastic sales, and I'm a big fan. I've used them a lot. Fabric.com, this is where I got this one from. They are an amazing resource for not only knit fabrics, but also woven fabrics and just about any type of fabric you can imagine. Soup to nuts. They have things on sale for $3 a yard, and they have things for $27 a yard. So that's the thing with knit fabric. You really can spend as much or as little as you want if you're smart about where you're sourcing. A new place that I have not tried yet, but I find very interesting, is Forever Fabrics. It's another California California fabric brand that sell online, and they seem to have some really interesting ones, so I might actually get one of theirs. I also like So English. They're a little bit more expensive, but they have gorgeous curated collections of knit fabrics. And then trying to think if there's anybody I'm missing. If you're in other countries, if you're not in America, because my experience is here, please put down your favorite fabric stores down below. I know that in the UK, a lot of people love Minerva and Minerva Crafts website. I've browsed through there before, and they've got some great stuff. And I know that our Australian sewers tend to buy from places like Spotlight, but that is the extent of my knowledge. So please, if you know more, share your experiences, and that way we can all find great places to source fabric and make our dress. So there we go. This video is a little long, but I can tell you that I'm very excited to make this dress. I feel like I've empowered you guys with all the information you need to be ready for February. And the good news is as long as this took to do, takes less time for me to make this dress. I made the peplum in about an hour. So it's not a complicated pattern. Also, comment down below about what version you'd like to see. I'm not 100% sure I want to make the lantern sleeves, but I'd be willing to do so. I know I want to use the waistband again, and I know I want the long dress, but I'm not sure about the neckline. Do I want another boat neck? Do I want the scoop neck? No matter what version I do, I'll show you guys my whole process. So thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.